Hey everyone, we have a very special guest today, and he's Mr. Ishwardas Pularute. He has been a banker for around 35 years and left his career after being the MD and CEO of Catholic Syrian Bank. So post his retirement, he's also doing freelancing work and also goes as a guest speaker. And he's been invited in multiple forums by the RBI as well for economic advisory. So here he's going to talk about his new books that he has written post his retirement, and it is very intriguing because he's also reached the pinnacle of his professional career and then transitioned into a spiritualist who is now writing a lot about mythology and all the things that he is passionate about. So welcome, sir, and we would definitely love to hear from you, your story, and also the things about the books that you have written.
Thank you, Rignath, for having me on this show.
Yeah.
Participating in this podcast on Authors Talk is indeed a privilege. And I am thankful to you for your kind words introducing me to the listeners. Now, to answer your question, I will have to go back in time a bit. See, when I was in the bank, you know, the job of a banker is highly demanding and a 24/7 job. So
Right.
naturally, I couldn't pursue my favorite pastimes like writing and other activities. But
Okay.
when the contractual obligations got over, I became a free bird,
Right.
thereby getting a lot of time to pursue my favorite pastimes, like, as you said, charitable activities, and then visiting exotic locations around the globe, and
Yeah.
then writing also. But
Okay.
even before I was writing, and then what happened is, uh, uh, when my last book, The Lethal Elixir, a bouquet of short stories, got published, some of my friends, well-wisher friends, just asked me whether I could write something on a philosophical plane.
Okay.
I really got, uh, I really got bewildered because see, it was totally an alien field for me. But
Right.
then my friends were very perseverant, and then they were insisting on just trying something different. So we were
Okay.
discussing about many things, and in between, I also developed some sort of interest. And then
Okay.
we discussed about many topics, deliberated on many of them, and finally we zeroed in on the Yoga Vaasishta. Why
Okay.
we have selected Yoga Vaasishta? Because Yoga Vaasishta is an epic penned by sage Valmiki, just like Valmiki Ramayana or Mahabharata.
Right.
But unlike Ramayana or Mahabharata, Yoga Vasishta has not become popular or has not reached the ordinary reader. So we thought that this is the ideal text on which we can write something. That is how
Okay.
we, or rather, that is how I came to know about Yoga Vasishta, and that is the backdrop of the genesis of this book.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Amazing story that you shared. I like the point where you mentioned that some of your close friends and well-wishers really insisted that you write something and do something different. So I think in a lot of ways in our life, it's those little conversations that we have with our well-wishers that completely uh, changes the trajectory of life in many ways. So I really resonate that point with you.
Actually, see, I have to tell you one thing, but for them, I would not have ventured into writing this book at all. But
Yeah.
then, see, their perseverance was too much that, I had to succumb to that. And then, ultimately, I have to accept their suggesting. But then
Okay.
only thereafter, we were discussing about many topics, as I said. And finally, because of what you call, no, because of the Yoga Vasishta factor, which is not getting percolated to the ordinary people level, we thought that that
Right.
would be the ideal text based on which we can write something.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. So it's interesting that you chose this, and also it's based on all the reasons that you mentioned. Looks like it's a valuable piece of information that you have collated in the book. So for the potential readers and also the viewers of this channel in general, what is it that few takeaways that you want them to hear out from the medium of your book?
Okay, Raghunath. See, actually, the Yoga Vaasishta is conceived as a sort of confabulatory treatise, a sort of conversation between sage Vasishta, the teacher, and the 16-year-old crown prince of Ayodhya, Rama.
Okay.
Now, the context is very interesting and worth mentioning here. The teenage boy is airing a number of doubts, as well as he is raising a lot of queries regarding the agonies and the miseries in the human life and in this universe, and is seeking clarifications from the teacher. And
Okay.
the teacher is explaining everything to his satisfaction. Having
Okay.
said so, please do not misconstrue to presume that this sermon, the sage's sermon, is confined to Rama alone. On
Okay.
the contrary, what the sages envisaged is it should be made applicable to the ordinary readers like you and me. Now,
Right.
what is the crux of the message, or what is the crux of the subject? Now, human life is always full of miseries,
Right.
and man wants to get an escape from this entrapment. But the human tendency is such that he falls back into that whirlpool of wars that he does not get any escape from that. So
Yeah.
naturally, we have to understand what is the cause for this. Now, the cause for this is the human mind. Now,
Okay.
the human mind has two constant, inalienable companions with it. What are
Okay.
they? They are one ego, and the other one is sense organs. Now,
Okay.
the ego has an uncanny knack of lifting the person to the dizzy heights only to make him fall down to the depths of an abyss.
Right.
Similarly, unbridled mind, with the support of the sense organs, will crave for a lot of pleasures, affluence, name, and fame. So
Mm.
naturally, what happens is we have to find a way out. And what is the remedy? The only remedy is to quell or to curb the mind. Now,
Okay.
when we say curb the mind, we have to control the mind. That is why Sage Patanjali, in his beautiful and very famous book, Yoga Sutras, has referred to Yoga, Chitta Vritti Nirodha in his in his Yoga Sutras book. What is that? Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is negation of the activities of the mind. Now, when
Okay.
I say mind, I am referring to the desiring mind only, that part only, not the working mind, which is the
Okay.
essential for the day-to-day activities. So the idea is to curb the desiring mind. When you
Okay.
curb the desiring mind, what happens is the mind becomes bereft of longings and yearnings and cravings. So
Okay.
when that thing sets in, naturally a sort of serenity sets in.
Yeah.
And once serenity comes, you get emancipation from the hardships. So this is the essence. This is the real essence of the book.
Okay, okay, amazing. I'm reminded of a quote that I read, which goes like, a rich man is rich because he has lesser needs, and not because of he has like multiple possessions in his place. So I think that really connects with what you're saying. Like we have like the mind which is like cranking several things, but the point when we kind of control it and then pull it down to a place where it has limited needs, that's when we actually kind of understand God and maybe a spirit behind our existence. So amazing.
Raghunath, one more thing is there. Raghunath, one more thing is there. To continue on that, see, actually, this is all written for the purpose of the readers, So what happens is, I would be gratified if some of the readers are able to appreciate and embrace the tenets of this philosophy, so that there would be a lot of change in their attitude, in their mentality, in their way of life, so that it would help them lead a less stressful life. That is the idea behind writing this book also.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because writing can be like a great service to generations to come. You never know like how much the shelf life of your book can be, because some of the books that I read now are like written by authors who have no more in this world, and it's like passed down since centuries. So I think the service that you
Exactly.
have rendered here for humanity as a
Mhm.
whole is
Mhm. Mhm.
definitely appreciable, and
Correct.
something that we really
Correct.
look forward to reading.
Correct. Correct.
All right. So during the phase of your writing, were there some challenges or behind the scenes, things that you want to share with our viewers so that we can connect with you a little more better?
No, actually, see, I'll tell you a small anecdote. See, the work of writing the book almost got completed. Okay.
Okay.
Then I thought that, I would send it to two scholars. One
Okay.
is a doctorate in Sanskrit and an adept in the spiritual
Okay.
literatures, and the
Okay.
other is an academic. So
Okay.
I send this manuscript to both of them to take their feedback,
Okay.
right? So what happened is both of them appreciated, on the face of it, both of them appreciated the skillfulness, or what you call artfulness, in the construction of the book, literary work, and all that. But then one of them made this remark with a caveat. He
Okay.
said, "Ishwardas, you have to make it simpler."
Okay.
I
Okay.
was really shocked to hear that, because, see, already, this is a very strenuous exercise to write something on Yoga Vaasishta. Now,
Right.
added to that is the scholars' advice to make it simpler, to simplify the whole thing. So, Raghunath, what
Right.
happened is I had to literally revisit the whole book,
Oh,
page
okay.
by page, word by word, so that there are two things. One is simplification, but the other is, more important, is not to lose sight of the real import of the maxims
Yeah.
contained therein. No, that is very important. No,
Right.
so it was a very delicate exercise. I took a lot of time. You wouldn't believe, I took about few months to complete the exercise, to the
Okay.
satisfaction of that scholar. Then
Okay.
only I sent it for publication, and I'm very happy to say that immediately I got the acceptance from the publisher.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah, I think that's important feedback that you got, because most often this spiritual science is something people don't relate it so easily, because like
Correct.
their minds and their lifestyle is so detached from all of this information, and it's
Exactly.
really hard for
Exactly.
someone to kind of connect with like even like
Exactly.
complicated jargons.
Exactly.
So I think that
Exactly.
simplicity component really helps people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
sir, I have a question related to just what I just said. Like, for people who are not into, like, let's say, spirituality and completely out of terms with most of the instructions as per the scriptures. Let's say they have
Mm.
desires, wants, and things that they are going after, which is potentially good for them, but not good for many people, depending on how they take it. Like, some people might be very passionate and they hanker after it a lot, and then when they don't get it they get disappointed, right? So that can be a cause of great stress, as you said, like some people even commit suicide because of things like these. I've
Exactly.
read an
Exactly.
article which says the number of deaths in the COVID year due to suicide was much higher than the deaths due to COVID. That was like
Right.
shocking fact, because I think
Right.
this is a more important matter for people to address, and you are addressing that exact pain point. So what is it,
Right.
people of younger generation should understand so that they can deal with all of this stress better?
No, see, one thing is there. See, the the whole idea of writing this book is to disseminate this information to the ordinary reader, because what happens is, see, I have to give the background of the other textbooks or other literature available as far as this topic is concerned. Of
Okay.
course, those people who have written about this topic are all great scholars,
Right.
and they are all adepts and very erudite in their field.
Mhm.
Okay. And see, we have to greatly appreciate and admire their literary work also. But
Right.
the problem with the book is that see, Yoga Vasishta is mainly composed of 5 large sections. It is a
Okay.
very massive, voluminous book having 5 large sections, and each section is populated with many chapters, all in the form of stories. You
Okay.
would you would you would understand the size of it when I say that it is populated with some 30,000 Sanskrit verses.
Okay.
So subsequently, some of the scholars try to reduce the size of the original to
Okay.
a smaller version, and that was known as Legu Yoga Vasishta. The
Okay.
original text was known as Brahat Yoga Vasishta. Brahat means large. Now,
Okay.
these scholars tried to reduce it, and the smaller version was called Legu Yoga Vasishta. But the
Okay.
problem is, even Legu Yoga Vasishta was very colossal or very gigantic in size. So
Okay.
then it occurred to me as to how to circumvent this problem of a large text being given to a reader, and how to make it reader friendly and how
Right.
to make it more lucid. Because
Okay.
see, as you rightly said, see, to reach out to the ordinary people is a very difficult exercise, especially
Yeah.
when you are writing philosophy, right? Or
Right.
whenever you are writing on spiritual literature. So
Mhm.
here, the whole idea has been to make it as simple as possible, and at the
Okay.
same time condense the whole large original to some 300 and odd pages like a handbook, so that
Okay.
the reader would find it easier, and at the same time reader could assimilate the whole thing in a easier way. That was the
Okay.
idea.
Amazing. So you mentioned about the simplicity factor, which is really critical. But in terms of the chapter structure, is it more like conversational in nature? I think you mentioned briefly about it, but we would like to know about how it is structured through different chapters.
Yeah. See, actually, what I have done is I have introduced some novel. Of course, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I'm just telling you for the information. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, we have, or rather, I have taken some three novel and important features or to the book. Now,
Okay.
what are they? Number one is I have reduced, as I said, I have taken one storyline from each section. Now you have to
Okay.
meticulously choose the storyline, because that storyline should have the quintessence of that section. In other
Okay.
words, it should be labeled as the microcosm of the section.
Okay.
Supposing we commit an error in selecting the storyline, what would happen is it won't have the full variety of the philosophical concepts contained in that section. So,
Okay.
first thing is we have to choose the storyline. So, accordingly, I selected one storyline. Second
Okay.
is, in order to make it more appealing, I introduced or I added some snippets, vignettes, anecdotes, some stories, some of my own, and some derived from Oriental literature as well as
Okay.
Occidental ideology, plus the day to day experiences. Now, these appendages would enable me to drive home whatever are the important points to the reader directly.
Okay.
Moreover, these appendages would create a situation where the reader would find a number of suspenseful situations, intriguing moments, and at the same time, unknowingly, he will come to grips with the real topic and the real import of the subject. And
Okay.
thirdly, I have set up the whole book against the classroom atmosphere. Now,
Okay.
this student-teacher interaction vivifies and assists the reader to assimilate the difficult parts. For example, as an author, it gives me a lot of maneuverability. So,
Mhm.
when I feel that the topic or the context is very tough,
Mhm.
immediately I stop the narrative, I make the teacher or the student intervene. So, maybe the student would would raise a doubt, or the teacher would give a spontaneous clarification. Now, the whole objective is to make the reader understand and comprehend the real idea behind such important things. So
Okay.
these are the three-pronged way whereby I could circumvent the problem of the size as well as the lucidity.
Okay, okay, amazing. So I really understand and appreciate, your passion for writing the literature in a way that is simple, and also, understanding all of the information, which is the core of the matter in each of the original textbooks. But let's say if we want to summarize the transformation that a reader can go through once he has probably read your book, understood things. So what are the top three things that a reader can look forward to? As a transformation in themselves while they go through all the information that you have provided.
Because nobody can claim that by reading a book, the whole philosophy can be imbibed. But at the
Yeah,
same time, but at the same time, the objective here is to reach to the reader as far as possible the
yeah,
real tenets of the philosophy. Now, as I said earlier, see, these are all, see, basically, if you break down the philosophy, we will find that, there are three or four simple things like the
okay,
mind, right? And the associated activities. Now,
okay,
when we read the book, and if the reader is able to imbibe at least a part of that philosophy, I'm sure that he can create a sort of modifications or alterations in his lifestyle so that he would be able to what you call he will be able to change his attitude, he will be able to change his mentality. As I said earlier, he would be able to change his lifestyle itself. Now, this if it happens, I don't know whether I have been able to communicate it to such a level that the reader can imbibe all these things in the way I desire. But if at
yeah,
all some readers are able to digest it the way I want, then it is a very big thing, and I will feel gratified.
amazing. Yeah, for an author, I mean, I'm also an author, so I can really understand what you're talking about. The best reward that you can get is, getting some person read at least like bit of it, and then helping them change their lives. So also, ultimately, that's what we all strive for. So amazing, intent from your side at this point of your life to help people, get better at themselves and also do better for the society in the whole. So thanks a
Thank you.
lot, sir, for doing it. So, any other thing, any future plans? I'm sure you're writing more. So, can we also hear from you? What are your next books that are coming up, so the readers can also understand?
Okay. Since Raghunath, you have asked me, I like to tell you that next on the line is the text called Devi Mahatmyam. It is
Okay.
a 700 verses that of
Yeah.
praise to Sri Durga. In other words, it
Right.
is known by the Sri Durga Saptasati. Okay,
Okay.
it is
Okay.
in the final stage, and again, the publisher is Motilalal Banarsidass, who are the
Okay.
what you call premier institution to publish such books.
Okay.
Now, from the spiritual, there is a transformation to the fiction side. Now,
Okay.
that book touches upon the corporate world, and that is abroad only, not in India. Okay. Now,
Okay.
that book is tentatively titled. I haven't sent it for publication, but it is
Okay. Okay.
tentatively titled as "Life: A Medley of Hues," and it examines the the rifts, the what you call stripes, etc., obtaining in the corporate world, and then it at the same time dissecting the characters at length.
Okay.
And there is also a collection of short stories. It is also getting complete. So this
Oh,
is the program, future program.
amazing. Amazing. So, I definitely wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and also best of luck on this one. And I hope this effort from my side also helps you reach a wider audience who might be interested. So, thanks a lot for your time.
So thank you, Raghunath, once more for having me on this show.
Yeah.
I know that I don't know how many viewers would know it. You are a man who wears several hats because I know myself that you are a good writer, And it is a laudable achievement when an author interfaces with other authors, taking the subject or taking the book closer to the hearts of the readers. And
Yeah.
the other part which I have seen you is hosting other talk shows like FinTalk.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
for the reader, for the viewers, I have to tell you that this FinTalk is done by my friend Santosh Pai. He's a chartered
Yeah.
accountant, and Raghunath is hosting the show. So,
Yes.
just for your information, Raghunath, I have been sharing comments to Santosh, and one day I
Okay.
asked him, "Who is this young man with this infectious smile?" Okay, then
Okay.
then I could gather more about you. So
Yeah.
I have to just wish and pray that your infectious smile, as well as the programs you host, entertain and enlighten all the viewers and the audience continuously for a long time. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Raghunath. All the best to you. And
Yeah,
all
thank
the
you so
best to
much,
you.
sir. Yeah. Before we close, I definitely want to thank my uncle, as you said, like C.S. Santosh Pai, someone I definitely look up to for many reasons, for his graceful presence, obviously, because he has had a very good influence in my life in many ways. So I definitely want to acknowledge his efforts in getting me connected to you. And I also want to wish him all the best in his shows and also in his life, a general life ahead. So thank you so much for your time and making this happen with me. I'm feeling fortunate and grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best to you, Raghunath. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.